Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Finstep Asia Edge. We're here in the middle of GFF. I will show the world what we're looking at around day two, lot of action, and at the heart of it is one of India's largest fintechs, Labs. With me today is a friend who has had a journey in fintech similar roots coming from Hong Kong, Puranjay, who is the chief of staff of Setu. We'll learn more about Setu today, but welcome to
Thanks.
Asia.
Thanks for having me, Musheer.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and it was like a really nice surprise to catch up with Musheer after so long. Coincidentally, I was in Hong Kong a while back, and I was just remembering the old days. I was telling Musheer that I used to volunteer at the Hong Kong Fintech Week, and this is like such a big step up. It's kind of like couldn't imagine we'll be here. So great to catch up with an old friend, and happy to keep working together.
Yeah, it's a similar story from when I started off. My first interaction was volunteering for the first FinTech Week in Hong Kong in 2015. Puranjay, we both came, did our MBAs in Hong Kong, masters, different paths to FinTech. But what was your journey into FinTech here?
So my journey into FinTech started when I was consulting with KPMG. That was my first experience of nationwide, large-scale FinTech. I kind of carried that forward in Hong Kong, where I was like, okay, how do we build better solutions for Asia? And that's how I thought that Hong Kong is a nice place which has a mixture of West and the East.
Correct. Yeah.
I joined Setu when I was actually looking to continue my journey in angel investing. So I was doing a work with the Hong Kong Fintech Angel Group, thought of doing VC in India, but I guess God had other plans. I found a startup journey to kind of get started in. I've been with my current startup for more than 4 years now, and it's been amazing. So I joined Setu. Setu is now part of Labs. Been acquired by Labs around 2 years back. And it's been a whirlwind journey where I've done everything from finance to product management to now operations and strategy. So that's my journey in FinTech so far.
It's a great journey. You're part of the leadership. Tell me a little bit more for the world, not be aware about Labs, though they should be.
Sure. So Labs is kind of like an old school FinTech. It's been around for more than 20 years now, but it's young at heart. And what do we want to do at Labs? We want to build the future of payments and commerce from Asia for the world. That's our tagline right now.
Sure.
And where does Setu fit in all of this? Setu is the FinTech infrastructure play at Labs. We are basically helping new age tech companies get access to regulated supply from financial service providers, which are banks, insurance companies, lenders. And we are giving more distribution reach to the old age tech, financial service provider. So we are kind of in between. Setu stands for bridge in multiple Indian languages. And we thought that, Setu is the closest approximation that you can get for an API in the Indian world. So that's what we do. We are an API infrastructure company, and we hope to do this process to kind of distribute financial products at scale for India. So that's what we are at Setu.
Do you want to give a couple of examples or use cases?
Sure.
Setu, where you mentioned the tech players getting access to regulated financial services and vice versa.
Sure.
Use cases you can mention?
Sure. So just to give a very random example from the top of my head, Snapmint is a new age loans provider, which is into the personal loans business right now. And we help power them with Account Aggregator. Account Aggregator is kind of like a digital public infrastructure in the country, which allows any individual to share their bank statements in a consented manner to other parties. We did this with Snapmint. Snapmint saw increase in conversions, decrease in frauds, and they're kind of riding the wave. At the FinTech, GFF right now, we've actually launched what we call A raised to the power AI. And what we mean by that is that how do we basically give you the power of traditional AI and new age large language models to get even better insights on that account aggregator data. So that's what we are doing right now, and we hope to give better access to people who traditionally don't get access to financial products with the ability to just share their bank data. So that's what we're doing.
AI is the buzzword everybody.
Yes, everyone's talking about it.
Companies are not AI around GFF. It'll be interesting to understand from like a mature, large fintech as Labs plus Setu element, which is plugging into a lot of regulated entities. How is this data play coming from the source? Two parts. One, the quality of the data.
Yeah.
Because for the AI, that is very important, even for
sure.
Good quality of data. Secondly, is the data security element. I'm not even saying privacy, but data security element, which is very important for financial institutions?
Sure. So I think one of this is the entire power of the how the AA network and the AA protocol is set up, such that the APIs themselves give you that kind of guardrails of what you can use the data for, when you can use the data, how long you can use the data as well. So as an example, if I'm giving Calvin a loan, I can only monitor Calvin's bank statements for the duration that the loan is in place. And if Calvin doesn't give me consent, I cannot kind of push other products onto him. So one of the challenges that a lot of consumers face, and this has been happened to a lot of folks, is that hey, I'm calling from XYZ bank, would you want a loan? Yeah. That's pretty annoying, right? But there's another part of the problem where when you actually need a loan, but people are not giving you that loan just because they're not able to underwrite you effectively. And A solves for all of that. So from a security perspective, it's not as if you've gone the entire other way of, hey, just give us all your data and we'll then give you a loan. But we're trying to do this in a consented-based framework. And where Setu plays in all of this is that we're trying to be the first movers building on top of this protocol, trying to give back to the ecosystem that, hey, this is how you should do it. And I would love everyone to kind of try us out. We are kind of building a very cool consent manager for a consumer to try out and how to give the A data. And we're working with lenders on how they can get access to this A data. So I think I hope that answers your question.
It's a trustable security. You're standing on a bridge right now. But I also want to just extending that in terms of the AI itself.
Yeah.
How good is the data quality for these LLMs?
So I think.
Do you really need LLM for
so I would say that and that's actually a question that we are grappling with as well. That is LLM just a buzzword? How beneficial can LLMs be? And we are also figuring that out ourselves. But where LLMs are useful are from a perspective of explainability and finding things where humans probably cannot have a look, because traditionally what you need when you're kind of building AI, traditional machine learning models, is that you yourself need to design those algorithms. You yourself need to tell the machine where to go. With LLM, some of that process becomes much more easier, and we're kind of experimenting on this because a lot of regulated entities that we're speaking with at the moment are very concerned about not letting the LLM take the final call. Yeah. And we are also working along that. So I would say our LLMs, the bomb, they're very good. I personally use a lot of LLM solutions myself, and they save me a lot of time in my day job. But in a regulated environment, in a financial environment, we do have to be careful. But yes, AI is powerful. AI does help out. We just have to be more careful of when we want to use it, where we want to use it.
Fantastic. Finance 20 years, Setu
around
8 to 10 years. Yeah.
Around, yeah.
Mature companies. This is basically from the time where India FinTech was just starting up.
Yeah.
From a Setu perspective, was when India Stack was built and UPI had just launched, kind of conversation. Where next for the next 3 years? So I think a 5-year projection for India is a while.
So I think, both Musheer and me were part of, some sessions, today. Yeah. I think there's a lot of exciting things happening in India, building on top of what's known as DPIs. So DPI stands for Digital Public Infrastructure. So what the government wants to do is that, set up the basic digital infrastructure so that other people can build on top of it. So you're not having to do stuff from scratch. One good example of this where we kind of partnered is the Bharat Bill Pay system, where the government set up a network for merchants on one side, consumers on the other side, just to make bill payments easier. What used to happen before this, every single individual had to either digitally onboard themselves or the other alternative, which was go stand in a line, give up your day's wages to pay your utility bills. So that's similarly happening in the financial services space, in the commerce space. And I think that's pretty exciting, and we want to ride that wave. A simple tagline is that we want to have an API for every DPI that's out there. So that's where we want to be, and hopefully we'll be profitable as we try to do that.
Yeah. As a conversation, finance has been a major pillar of the Indian fintech system. It's safe to switching to the rest of the world. Puranjay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Musheer.
Lovely to have you. Audience, stay tuned for more interesting conversations. Click like, subscribe, and follow us for more interesting topics on fintech, Web3, not just in GFF, but across Asia.